Welcome back to Backward Point Podcast. My name is Nazar Sayed, and with me, as always, is my brother and co-host Bashar Sayed.
Hey, what's up?
Really, that's how you're starting this podcast? The preview to the iconic England versus Pakistan series, basically the colonist versus the colonial, and this is how you're gonna start. Hey, what's up?
Bro, I'm just not ready for this thrashing.
This is what
Like this
1857 all over again for you?
This last one
That's
year.
a deep cut joke, bro. I'm really upset that you didn't. Anyways,
This last 1 year has.
did you even know what happened in 1857? That's why he didn't get the
This
joke.
is a podcast on cricket, not a history lesson.
This is why he didn't get the joke. That's it. I'll leave it there.
So, as I was saying, the last 1 year has been probably one of the worst times to be a Pakistan cricket fan. Disappointing performances at the ODI World Cup, losing to Australia in Australia. Just a horrific T20 World Cup campaign, losing to Bangladesh. And to top that all off, England is now in Pakistan finally for a 3-test match series. And we're here previewing that.
Yep, 100%. I just had a few stats as well that we can start off with. But before that, the major news, before we get into all the heartbreak and dismay and what's going to happen here, who's going to play there, Pakistan women's team is at the World Cup, T20 World Cup in the UAE right now. And they pulled off an insane win against Sri Lanka in their opener. And they have Pakistan has a new captain in Fatma Sana, who was the man of the match, leading from the front, a real captain's innings from both bat and ball. And this is like insane now because in this pool, in Pakistan's pool, we have Australia, India, and New Zealand as well. So there's going to be an India-Pakistan game happening in the Women's T20 World Cup soon. And Pakistan's already had a good start. So congratulations to the ladies. And, we'll be closely following it from now on. We've been behind on the women's cricket, but this is giving us a good opportunity to pay attention. And yeah, I'm all for it.
Shout out Fatma Sana. She's 22 years old. She wants to bring in a more attacking mindset towards the Pakistan women's team. And that comes in especially at the top with the openers. They want to play a bit more high-risk cricket. For me, what stood out about today's win is that they won in the UAE while defending.
Yeah.
Which rarely ever happens. Typically, the teams batting second have an advantage when they're chasing because it's a dew factor in the UAE. So for our girls to go out there and defend that score, and Fatma Sana to be leading from the front at just 22 with the ball and with the bat, she has plans to improve her bowling action to become the fastest woman bowler of all time. I think the current fastest bowler recorded was South Africa's Shabnam Ismail. She bowls faster than me.
Really? How fast does she bowl?
She bowls close to 120 kilometers on a good day, which beats all the good days that I've ever had.
That's true. And there aren't a lot of them anyways.
And you know what a really cool part about Fatma Sana is? She's sponsored by Yashi Sports. This episode is sponsored by yours truly, Yashi Sports. The reason why Fatma Sana
I did not see that coming.
Was man of the match is because she got expert advice and she got the highest quality equipment, both from Yashi Sports.
Yo, is this true? Oh, yes, she is.
Absolute facts.
Insane facts. And if you too want to be a champion, click on the links below, BP10, you get 10% off of your purchases online. And you know what? Support Pakistan women's, support us, support Yashi Sports.
Let's get it. I think I was so happy to see Yashi being the sponsor of a Pakistan women's captain. So not only are they sponsoring Fatma Sana, the women's captain, but also North America's biggest cricket podcast, Backward Point.
There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Let's get back to some more heartbreak as we are ready. I know a lot of people watch our podcast. There's a whole faction of people in our demographic that watch us to celebrate our dismay and our despair. And there's a whole other people who just watch us to relate to it. So, this episode is twofold for both of them. I have a stat for you, Bashar. When was the last time Pakistan won a test match against England in Pakistan?
In Pakistan? 2005?
Yes.
Right?
That was the last time.
I was just looking at the past series because when England came in 2022,
it's been 20 years.
I was like, yo, what the hell? We weren't this bad at home.
Yeah.
So I looked back at the time where England came before and Pakistan won the 3-test match series 2-0.
Yep.
Shoaib Akhtar, this is the famous series where Shoaib Akhtar bamboozled everybody with his slow deliveries.
Broke stumps as well.
Broke stumps, had fights with Andrew Flintoff.
Yeah.
And
iconic series.
Like, what a team, man. Like, it seemed like that team had everything that we're looking for right now. We had a world-class leg spinner in Danish Kanaria. We had quick pace bowlers with Mohammad Sami, Rana Naveed, Shoaib Akhtar. We had a solid middle order in Yunus Khan, Inzamam ul Haq, Mohammad Yusuf.
Inzam ul Haq in the entire England versus Pakistan series, he has the highest number of runs scored in both teams, and he has the biggest average.
And he was
Inzam ul Haq, the clutch guy.
He was the man of the series in that 05 series that we're just talking about. And Shoaib Akhtar was the highest wicket taker. So, like, what's happened? I feel like we just forgot how to play cricket at home. I mean, we just saw India absolutely thrash Bangladesh, who went to India on a high after beating Pakistan at home. And it just seemed like India, that series was a walk in the park for them because they know the ingredients of how they want to play cricket at home. It's going to be spin, turning wickets. They got the combinations of Jadeja and Ashwin, who've been world-class at home, and they just steamrolled through Bangladesh.
Honestly, I'm still sort of going through the emotions of that series only because I think finishing a test match with the result dominating the way that India did in 2.5 days almost, that's going to change test match cricket as we know it. That's just a fact. And a lot of people have started picking up steam to that and realizing the fact that India was so heavily and overly dominated in that game that it's just, there's a wrinkle now in the fabric of test match cricket, and that was that day. Bangladesh, on the other hand, has had a very weird roller coastery sort of test cycle. They go out and in Pakistan and create history only to go to India and create history against them. And it's one of those things where you have to look back and see how terribly Pakistan played at home for that to happen to them. And again, no credit taken away from the Bangladeshi players. They played their hearts out, but when they go back and play a formidable side, their weaknesses are exposed. And Pakistan just was not that for them.
I heard you were quite sad to hear that Shakib Al Hasan has retired from test matches.
I think I bought like over 100 kilos of mithai and just distributed it amongst my Bangladeshi friends because Shakib Al Hasan is a lot of things, but a match winner he is not.
I mean, maybe initially he was, but just
there was a
past
moment.
few years.
There was a moment, but then he's one of those where like I feel like even Shahid Afridi did this where they overstayed their welcome. And yeah, I mean, he's broken more stumps than he's won World Cup matches. That's all I'll say.
I think he's slowly calling time off on his career. I think next year might be his last. He's just playing white ball cricket now. So with him gone, Mushfiq at the end of his career as well.
End of an era.
End of an era, really. It almost feels like remember when Sri Lanka lost Dilshan, Sangakkara, Jayawardene
all at the same time,
and their team just went downhill from there.
Yeah. I would say like even with Pakistan cricket in their test matches when they lost Misbah and Yunus retired at the same time, there was a big gaping hole, and I would argue it's still not filled.
Yeah, we really thought that Azhar Ali and Asad Shafiq would step up, and
to their credit, they
roles.
tried their best. To be fair, they tried their best, and Misbah and Yunus were just so good in that role that Azhar Ali and Asad Shafiq, who are still one of the greats in Pakistan Test cricket, could not. Nobody can live up to what they did. To be honest, I'm a big Yunus Khan Test match fan. I think he goes into every Test match 11 that Pakistan creates.
The stat about him
all-time 11. I mean,
the stat about him that impresses me the most is that he has the most Test match hundreds in the fourth innings. And the fourth innings is typically where batsmen are tested, where it's the hardest to score runs.
And the pressure of the target up looming and all that. So, yeah, clutch guy, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's a run for you. Speaking of eras, Pakistan had the best eras against England in the 80s and 90s. From 83-84, when England came to Pakistan, all the way to 2000, when Pakistan lost at home against England, England had not won or drawn a single test series against England. So that's the run where Imran Khan was the captain. That's the run where Wasim Waqar were there. That's the run where they had
Javed
Mirdad, and then the formidable 90s team with Saki and
Mushtaq
and
Amir Suhail,
all those big boys. So this goes to show Pakistan dominated this field for a very long time, almost 15 years to 18 years. And they did not let, there was a whole period, I want to say there was a whole 10-year period where England couldn't even get a test match out from Pakistan. So just running some stats right off you, the 83-84 England Pakistan Test Series, Pakistan won 1-0. After that, in 87, Pakistan won 1-0. 5 test matches, by the way. 1-0. 87-88, Pakistan won 1-0.
Which one? Do you know if there's either home or away?
Yes. So 83-84 was England and Pakistan. 87 was Pakistan and England. 87-88 was England and Pakistan. 92 was Pakistan and England Test Series. Pakistan won 2-1. That was the first time in almost 11 first time in 9 years that England won a test match and lost the series still.
I think generally Pakistan has done well against England. Even when we've gone to England in the past few years, we've been competitive. 2018, we drew the series 2-2. 2016, we also drew 2-2. The one before that was
2018 was 1-1, by the way.
Was it?
Yeah. 2018 was 1-1, and then 2016 was 2-2, and then 2015 was 2-0 Pakistan, and 20.
That was in the UAE.
That was the 2010-11 was probably the one that everybody remembers. Sorry, 11-12 was the one everyone remembers where Pakistan beat them 3-0. With Saeed Ajmal just cleaning Kevin Peterson up every single inning.
Ajmal and Rahman, bro.
Insane, bro.
And Hafiz.
Insane duo. Yeah, the fact that like Misbah got Hafiz to become like this crazy bowler, and I think at that moment they really understood what the strengths were, and in according to those, that's how the pitches were orchestrated. And so just bamboozling England out of there, it was insane to me. And like they had, there was also like a turn in English cricket there where England was sort of on the precipice of something different. They were sort of letting go of the old guard and the new guard was coming in. Ian Bell, Jonathan Trott, those guys were sort of on their tail end. And then Cook was sort of coming into his own. Strauss was coming into his own. And Anderson was always been there. Anderson, I don't think Broad played that series, I remember. Maybe he did.
I can't remember.
I can't remember off the top of my head. But that was probably the last time that Pakistan was like undefeated.
Like dominant. It's
really interesting because I feel like England right now is also in a precipice of a different change. So this is not the same England team that came in 2022 and just wiped out Pakistan. This is a very different English team that's coming in. Their cracks have been revealed. Sri Lanka went to England, won a game there, stole a game out of their hands. And so English cricket is not as, they have their kryptonite. And I just don't know if Pakistan has that mindset where they're able to forge that kryptonite against them. Because if England have weaknesses, Pakistan has some strengths. And it's going to be weird to see this.
What are Pakistan's strengths?
That's what I'm saying. Like they have more weaknesses than strengths. What are Pakistan's strengths?
Our captain speaks good English.
They're playing at home. If that's a strength at all. I mean,
I think for all money, that might be a disadvantage. Because we don't even know what kind of pitches we're going to prepare.
That's what's been happening in the past 24 months is that we don't even know what home advantages are advantage at all.
I just heard Jason Gillespie on a podcast and he said that he looked over the Multan pitch and for now there is some grass on it. So I feel like Shan Masood thinks that Pakistan's pace bowling is its strength and that's why he wants to make green top pitches and hopefully get 20 wickets in a match, score runs, and win the test match. So as of now, I feel like there's a lot of uncertainty with regards to what the pitch will do, how it's going to behave, how they're going to ask it to be prepared. We do have a brand new pitch curator, which is the head of pitch curation in Pakistan. He's a foreign guy. He's from the UAE. I mean, he's from Australia, but he was working in the UAE. So I'm not sure if he's fully adapt with how Pakistani surfaces are going to play out. So time will tell what's going to happen. I hope it's not too late because the first 2 test matches are in Multan. And Pakistan, as we saw against Bangladesh, the first 2 test matches against Bangladesh were in Rawalpindi. And Pakistan just totally misread the pitch the first match. And the second match, even when they got the pitch right, they didn't get the squad right. We had a few injuries with players and Pakistan was blown over.
It's really interesting because that 2005 test series that we're talking about, Pakistan's first game was also in Multan and Pakistan won that game. And it just goes to show where these pitches used to have something in them where you could bowl, you could potentially take 40 wickets in a test match. But since Rambo came in and destroyed the complete fabric of what these pitches used to be, we have nowhere to go now.
From what I can remember as a kid watching Pakistan play test matches in Pakistan, Pakistan's strength would be sometimes get wickets with a new ball, but it was mostly spin and reverse swing. And that's why in that series, Shoaib Akhtar was the highest wicket taker because he was getting reverse swing. He was bamboozling people with slower balls. The pitches were so bad for fast bowling that he literally had to take the pitch out of the equation by bowling his slower balls and his Yorkers and just crazy bouncers and like absolutely ridiculous fields to get batsmen out.
Insane stat I just read. Hassan Raza was playing in that series. Remember that guy?
Cool.
He was 14, like one of the youngest debutants in cricket history. 14, played test match. And then played like 5 test matches. It was gone. Remember Hassan Raza? That's
nothing to be proud of.
That's a deep cut.
I think they do remember Hassan Raza because he came out saying that India is using different balls in the last ODI World Cup. That was him.
Shabir Ahmed was also in that series, by the way. Just another blast from the past.
Nice throws.
I like Shabir Ahmed. I don't know.
A deep cut is Asim Kamal in that series. Remember Asim Kamal?
He's in that series?
Hashtag Karachi Agenda.
Yo, Asim Kamal is a deep cut name.
Deep cut. He was a really good lefty batsman. That's what I remember.
What happened to him? What happened to my boy?
I think he just had he had a few inconsistent chances, a few glimpses here. I think he had a few 90s in his career. Couldn't really get big hundreds. Also, I think his batting position was a bit uncertain. Like sometimes he would be at number 6, sometimes number 3. This series, I believe he was at number 3.
Shoaib Akhtar took 17 wickets in that series at an average of 24. It's insane, bro.
Controversial.
That's your boy, no?
It's my boy.
That's your boy. Okay. I also think not to invoke Salman Butt's name, but he had a good series there too. He has a couple of 50s, a few hundreds. Salman Butt has 300 runs in 3 innings. 3 matches, 5 innings. Good on him. Good on my boy there.
When England came last,
yeah,
this is what I was studying in the past few hours before the podcast. That series was like the first glimpses of baseball that we saw. And when we spoke to the players who were in that squad at Islamabad United, so for example, we spoke to Salman Agha, and he was just in absolute shock with how England was playing the cricket. And I've got some numbers with regards to how attacking England was in that series. So the following are England's run rates while batting in each test match in each inning. So first test, first innings, England's run rate was 6.5. Pakistan's was 3.72. First test, second innings, England's run rate was 7.36.
insane.
Pakistan's was 2.7.
There's a difference of 4.59 in the run rates there.
Second test, first innings, England's run rate was 5.43. Pakistan 3.21. Second test, second innings, England run rate 4.24. Pakistan 3.21. Third test, first innings, England's run rate was 4.33. Pakistan's was 3.84. And third test, second innings, England's run rate was 6.03. Pakistan's was 2.88. So overall, what I'm trying to say with these run rates is that England just came out and just played for all money ODI cricket.
Yeah.
They came smashing. They came guns blazing. I've got some numbers on England's batters. So Harry Brook was the highest run scorer. He scored 468 runs at a strike rate of 93. Second highest run scorer was Ben Duckett, who scored 357 runs at a strike rate of 95. These are ridiculous test match numbers.
These are ODI numbers.
And every England batsman in that series was hitting at 95, 93, strike rates of 90 plus.
And Mark Wood was coming out and slapping everything.
So England was doing two things, which is basically what you need to win test matches. They were scoring runs, and they were scoring them at a high rate, and they were getting 20 wickets.
Boom. I still think about that James Anderson versus Mohammad Rizwan wicket. I think you would love that, right? It's
I
one of the
did
most
love
iconic things I've seen.
Even Ollie Robinson versus Babar Azam.
Oh, yeah.
Babar just left the delivery.
Yeah. Babar had a good series, that one, though. Do I remember?
He did.
I remember that correctly.
So that was the year Babar was the ICC Test Cricketer of the Year. And it's just been downhill since.
Do you want to talk about the squad?
Yeah, absolutely. So not a lot of changes in the squad. There's
a few big ones.
A few forced changes. Khurram Shahzad out for injury. Muhammad Ali out for injury. Pakistan has called in Zahid Mahmood, leg spinner, last minute as 16th man, just because the first two test matches are going to be happening in Multan. And this is the level of planning that the PCB had, that up until 2 weeks ago, nobody knew where the second test match is going to be.
I heard Abu Dhabi. I heard Dubai. I heard just Faisalabad at one point as well. I don't know what's going on.
And the consequences of this was that the Barmy Army, the diehard England cricket fan base who travels with the England cricket team everywhere, they were confused. They're like, where is this match happening?
Mm-hmm.
And
there was
they had some booking somewhere else. They had to reschedule it.
There was a hotel fiasco there too. Did you hear about that?
No, what happened?
So it's what I read on the socials. Apparently they were booked in a hotel, and then they're like all of these guys were booked in one hotel. The entire hotel cancellation, the booking gets canceled because that's where now the team was being booked, and so they got that handed to them, and then they were like, the PCB was trying to help them out where to go, where to book them again. So yeah, it's been a debacle.
Multan is a bit of a struggle also because I think the only 5-star hotel where everybody stays is the Ramada.
Yeah.
And the Ramada is not as big as like the PC in Lahore or the Movenpick in Karachi. So getting rooms there can be a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, also I think it's also like a security bubble, right?
Yeah.
So not everybody's able to go in and out. If the English team is staying there, then you can't have the Barmy Army staying there as well. So just a fiasco there. Good luck to whoever's going. Do let us know if you guys are part of the Barmy Army, how that thing is playing out. We'd love to hear from you guys. So we got pretty much the same squad, just a few changes. We have
Amr Jamal is back from injury.
I was just gonna say, finally, my boy's in.
I have doubts on his fitness because I saw him ball in the Champions Cup. I've seen him ball in the practice sessions. I don't see the same whip or the same snap in his action.
Speaking of whip, he got whipped a lot in the Champions Cup. He was going over 7 and over in one of the games I saw, and it's a couple of wickets there. So I don't know. Amr Jamal had a really good stint against Australia there, but ever since then,
went to the county championship, got injured, and then he is still recovering from an injury.
I want to talk about this injury situation for a second, if you got some time.
For sure.
Got anywhere to go?
Not right now.
Okay. So why are our star bowlers getting injured? Mohammad Ali is trying to make a spot in the team, and he can't even play 2 test matches. Same thing with Khurram Shahzad. This is the second or third time this guy's getting injured before an important series or during an important series. And how are these guys supposed to maintain a consistent spot in the 11 if their fitness is that abysmal?
Naseem and Shaheen, we understand because they've been playing a lot of cricket the past few years. Muhammad Ali and Khurram Shahzad, those two were a bit of a shocker to me because these guys have been playing domestic consistently. They've been playing the Guy Dasman Trophy, which is the highest form of red ball cricket you can play domestically in Pakistan. So you would think that they have enough overs under their belt. They have enough, fitness, match fitness, bowling fitness to sustain bowling at this level. But whenever they play a match, they're injured the next match. So I just don't know what's going on. I wonder whether it is a lack of nutrition, a lack of awareness. Maybe they're not doing the recovery properly. Maybe they're not gearing up for the match as they should. And I mean, test match cricket and first class cricket, the pressure's different. The load that it takes on your body is different. The amount of effort you put in a test match versus a domestic match, that's different. Maybe that's taking a toll on them. But genuinely, it's concerning because Pakistan already has an issue of limited talent on the bench. And the talent that we do have, if it's getting injured, we really have nowhere else to go.
It's just extremely frustrating as a fan as well to witness this. And speaking of limited talent, here's another crazy stat for you. Nouman Ali is back in the team. And during the course of this series, my brother in Islam, Nouman Ali, is going to turn 38.
Really?
Yes.
38?
During the course of the series. 37 years, 353 days is his on paper age.
There's something about Pakistan picking a
38
old left arm spinner. You look at Abdur Rahman, you look at Zulfikar Babar, and now you look at Nouman Ali, Uncle Nomi.
Uncle Nomi is correct.
Someone said this guy looks like an ad maths teacher.
He does. He does. He looks like an additional mathematics teacher. But here's his test stats, so you have to put some respect on him. 15 matches, 28 innings. He has taken 47 wickets. He's on his 50th, which is going to be a big milestone for him, I'm sure. Best 7 for 70. Best match figure 7 for 73. Average 33. Economy of 2.9. He has 5 He has 4 fifers and 1 4-4. That's his
He can
stats.
also bat. He's a
Let
pretty
me
handy
just write.
batsman. I think he scored he has a 90 in Test match cricket. Can you-
Against?
I think what is it, Zimbabwe? Can you confirm?
I will. Just give me a second here.
But I think even if he's in the squad, like he's an okay bowler. Like he's a pretty stock left arm spinner. Don't know how effective he's going to be in this series.
He has a 97. Yes,
97.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, this is so. What's the difference between him and what is it? Was it Sajid Khan?
Yeah.
What's the difference between them two? I would rather go with Sajid Khan at this point. New young blood. Give him some more test match
I don't
hours.
think Sajid Khan is young blood, bro.
How old is Sajid Khan?
I'm pretty sure he's in his 30s.
I'm dead. If that's true.
Again, I think I heard Saeed Ajmal say that the Pakistani pitches in domestic aren't really supportive of making world-class spinners. And that's why we have not seen any world-class spinners since the likes of Yasir Shah. And
He's 31.
it's 31.
Sajid Khan is 31.
Not young blood, bro.
I mean, it's 38.
Shoaib Bashir is young blood.
Shoaib
Rehan
Bashir.
Ahmed is young blood. Not Sajid Khan. Come on.
We don't have anybody. The youngest spinner we have is Abrar, who's also probably 30 at this point.
Here's the thing with Abrar. I feel like Abrar Ahmed at this level I think they've worked him out.
He's played like 5 test matches. How has he been worked out?
5 test matches in 2 years. I think the mystery has been unraveled.
you and Abrar are the same age.
Really? How old is Abrar?
26 on paper. I have to say on paper because y'all know what this means.
And we wear glasses.
And y'all were. That's true. Yeah, so Abrar 7 matches, 14 innings, 39 wickets. That's insane, by the way. Best 7 for 114. Best match figure is 11 for 234.
The problem with finger spinners, especially in today's day and age, is with the amount of technology that they have on display, they can show those visuals to the batsman and they can get used to it.
I remember somebody in the comments when you said this. You said this before in one of the podcasts before, and somebody challenged you on that and said, "Why wasn't Ashwin ever discovered then?"
I think
Murli.
Ashwin is a pretty genuine off spinner, right? Murli is unorthodox.
But then that's Murli.
He's genuinely world class. I was looking at Ajanta Mendes and his stats over the years. So he had a incredible first year in international cricket. I think he took 84 wickets in his first year across formats. But then second year, his average went from like 20 to 34. And the next year was 33. So the more he played, the more they sort of worked him out. He still finished with pretty incredible stats. I think he averaged 21 with 250 plus wickets across formats. But I don't know. Abrar, is it a lack of match practice? Because he also has fitness issues. Being a finger spinner in Test cricket is incredibly tough. I just watched a bowling masterclass with Nathan Lyon on Sky Sports, and he showed on the camera how he has developed calluses on his fingers. So when he bowls long spells, his fingers don't bleed.
Yeah, it's probably like indentation as well at this point. I'm not gonna brag or anything, but I played maybe 20 games this season, 15 to 20 games, and by the end of the season, my ring finger, which is my spinning finger, also developed calluses, just because I was bowling like 6 overs a game, and by the end of the season, this was all like scaly and almost like eczemic.
Do you feel like now with Usman Qadir retiring, you have a chance?
I've always had a chance. I just don't avail it.
Like you bowled pretty good to Mohammad Nawaz.
There we go. It's all proof. It's on proof. And I
On
batted pretty well
record,
too.
on record, we have Shadab Khan saying you're a good leg spinner. We have Mohammad Nawaz saying that he was impressed with your variations.
That's all I needed to retire, by the way, for boxing cricket. That's all. Those 2 faint praises, and I'm done. That's my career right there.
A couple of reels from Backward Point.
Yeah. Did you see pro sports playing cricket?
I did.
You think we can take them on?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that I feel like if there's ever a pro sports versus backward point match series, and we crush them probably, then I'll retire.
Bring
For
it
sure.
on, guys.
Bring it on. It's up to you. To you guys. Any thoughts on the English test squad?
I think they're missing
That's
some.
My whole point of the English test squad was that it's a bit haphazard. It's not as strong as it was when it came back in 2022.
I feel like their fast bowling is a bit weak.
Exactly.
Obviously, James Anderson is not there anymore. Broad is retired. Ollie Robinson, who was their best pacer the last series, is not here. And I think they will miss Mark Wood who is out with an elbow injury. And I feel like a lot of the Pakistani batsmen are going to be extremely grateful that Mark Wood is not coming. Any batsman we've spoken to has said that Mark Wood is undoubtedly the fastest bowler that they have faced. But England still has some pretty decent pacers. Gus Atkinson has pace.
Gus Atkinson had a crazy follow-up series after Anderson retired.
Yeah, quite fitting. I mean, Anderson goes and then in that same match, he takes like a 10 for.
10 for, bro. That's insane. That's like passing the baton if I've ever seen it like in real life.
And then Ollie Sloan has pace. Josh Hull was a pretty decent
He's out, though.
left arm
I think he's
pacer.
out.
He's out. Matthew Potts, who I saw in the test matches and the ODIs against Australia, looks like the most improved pacer in the past few years. He's come back stronger. He's bowling quicker, more consistent lines and lengths. And then England has a pretty world-class spinner in Jack Leach, and Shoaib Bashir is up and coming as well.
Thoughts on Shoaib Bashir and Rehan Ahmed playing against Pakistan? Both, I believe, are Pakistani origin.
Yeah, Rehan Ahmed actually was pointed out by Shane Warne when he was like, I think 10 or 12, that he's going to go ahead and play for England. So Rehan Ahmed, England's really investing into him, and they feel like Rehan is going to be that guy who takes the baton forward from Adil Rashid.
Also a fan of the podcast.
Yes, we'll get you on soon.
I feel like every time we invite somebody on the podcast, it feels like a threat.
Reply back to my email, bro.
Ben Stokes, thoughts on him coming back to Pakistan? Last time he was here, it was 3-0. Still the captain. He's forgone white ball cricket, and only except for World Cups, apparently. You know,
Ben Stokes has his priorities right. He knows he's 33. He has about 4 years more left. He wants to play as much Test cricket as he can. He took a break from the T20 World Cup to focus on his rehab for his knee. He came back in the county championship, bowling some overs, also bowled some overs for England, and he wants to be a proper all-rounder. A lot of these modern-day teams like Australia or England, they are trying to have a deep batting order, especially in white ball cricket. And England's trying to do that with red ball. Rehan Ahmed is a pretty decent batsman. They got Chris Wokes, who's no dummy with the bat. And there's Ben Stokes himself.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they've sort of figured out the formula of their victories and they keep repeating it. And it just seems like everybody else around them is not able to replicate that. Pakistan could just look at the English team and be like, what do we need? We need spinning all-rounders, we need fast bowling all-rounders, and we need balance. That's what Pakistan lacks. And that's what England, even with this younger team, it's oozing confidence.
I think the most dangerous part of this England side is their batting. They got guys like Harry Brook who have scored tons of runs in Pakistan. Ben Duggett, who just manipulates the field at will. He got the reverse chop, the reverse sweep. He's got the scoop. He can play a pull shot, cut shot, you name it. And then Joe Root has just been on song the last few years. I think he's playing the best Test cricket amongst the Fab Four. And the numbers back him to prove that. Ollie Pope is coming of age, and they've really unearthed a really interesting batsman in Jamie Smith, who's also a wicketkeeper.
I mean, I'm thinking about Joe Root here, just because you said that name, and I'm pulling up stats, and I'm baffled. 146 matches he's played in his since 2012. That's firstly that itself. Since 2012, he's played 146 Test matches.
That also shows you how
Azhar
much
Ali's been playing for 15 years. He never played 100 Test matches.
That just shows you how much more Test cricket in England gets.
In this cycle, I think England are playing 26 or 25 Test matches, while Pakistan is playing 12 or 13. So,
could you go year by year for Joe Root's Test stats and just walk me through the last 2 years or 3 years of his Test stats?
All right, so let's go from 2021 onwards. In 2021, he played 15 matches, scored 1,700 runs. That was probably his
that's
breakout
ridiculous.
year.
I think that's the third most runs in a calendar year after Mohammad Yusuf, Viv Richards,
And then him, yeah.
and then him.
High score was 228, average of 61, and strike rate of 56. He
How many
scored
hundreds?
600s that year. 2021 was the year, basically, of him. 600s that year, 450s, and he also had a duck.
Because Joe Root had this issue where he also had, similar to Babar, he had a horrible conversion rate. Like he had a lot more 50s than 100 if you want to be a great batsman.
It's probably because of 2015-16, he scored 10 50s and 3 centuries in both those years. That's 20 50s and 6 centuries in 2 years.
Ideally, it should be half and half.
In 2021, it was more centuries than 50s. Joe Root is just a beast. Rihan has this amazing video on how to get him out or something. And I urge everybody to check it out. Rihan,
Especially the Pakistani bowlers.
yeah, it's just like one of those things where like if Rihan Ul-Haq is making videos about this, show this to the Pakistani bowlers.
You know how everybody was talking Babar in the Jared Kimber toe thing?
Yeah.
We should all tag Naseem Shah, Shaheen Shah, Amir Jamal in that video by Rehan Ul-Haq.
100%. I just want to run this down real quick, Bashar. So in 2021, again, 1,700 runs. 2022, he has 1,098 runs, highest of 176, average of 45, and strike rate of 63. Another 5 centuries and 250s in that year. 2023, he scores 787 runs, only plays 8 matches that year, high score of 153, average of 65, scores 2 centuries and 5 50s that year. This year, 2024, 11 matches, 986 runs. So he's going to cross 1,000 runs again. High score of 143, average of 54, strike rate of 58, 4 centuries, 4 50s.
Tell me how his strike rate went up after Bazball came into place.
So in 2022 and 2023, his strike rate was 63 and 76 respectively. It's gone back down to 58.9, which is still pretty high in test matches. To be honest, to be fair to him, his strike rate has always been above 55 in the 60s. In 2015-16, his strike rate was 63 and 60. And in 2017, it was again 61.8. So he's been a pretty quick and a swift player of the game. I mean, he's one of the greats, honestly. And if anybody from the Pakistan region is watching us, go out to Multan for anything, watch this man bat. It's a privilege.
Get some Sohan Halwa on the way.
100%. Yeah, Multani Sohan Halwa.
Speaking of sweet things, I hope Babar's form comes
Oh
back.
my God. Why? Can we have a podcast where we don't talk about Babar Azam?
Impossible.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Babar Azam's last test match 100 was December 26th, 2022. It's been nearly 2 years. And Babar's average the last couple of years
Don't
in
do this
test
to me,
matches,
man. Do not do this to me.
In 23, it was 22.6. And in 2024, he's averaging 18.83 and no 50s or 100s in these last 8 test matches, 15 test innings.
I mean, contrasting again, we shouldn't even be doing this, but contrasting to Joe Root here, abysmal.
Do you think Babar leaving the ODI captaincy will have an effect on his test batting?
I mean, you have to be very specific because it's not just ODI captaincy, it's captaincy in international cricket, full stop. I think if it was, we'll find like this series is going to be a lot of answers to questions that we've had. And honestly, if it was ever a psychological block, if it was ever something that wasn't a technical issue or it wasn't a Babar Azam doesn't know how to bat issue, we'll figure it out now. This will be the series that tells us, because the weight of the captaincy is out, the weight of the board is out. Like, everybody's backing him up. PCB released a statement right after. I don't know if you saw that, where we were like, we were still backing this guy up, but he wants to resign, so that's okay. We respect it. And at this point, I think all that stands between him and glory, honestly, is him. Look in the mirror. That's where the enemy is. Babar Azam.
What's that Michael Jackson song? The Man in the Mirror?
Yeah. Yeah, the man in the mirror. I don't think you should invoke Michael Jackson's name in this podcast. It's a very controversial figure anyways, about Babar Azam being one himself for different reasons. But yeah, man in the mirror situation. Babar Azam, this is the time. If Babar ever wanted to make a comeback statement at home, last time England was here, he was the captain, 3-0. This is the time, man. Go out there, score big runs. It's 6 innings.
Score double hundreds.
You have 6 innings there. Give me like big hundreds. Make a name for yourself. Win the series. Prove a point.
Doesn't Virender Sehwag have a triple hundred in Multan?
Yes,
And then also Inzamam ul Haq also has a triple century in Multan.
I believe so. So it's possible.
Let's get it.
That's the place where runs happen. And if anything, the golden lining of this series for me, if it happens, should be Babar's form coming back, because we need him. The next 6 months are one of the most rigorous Pakistan cricket schedules of all time. And, it's one of those things where I really need this man to perform for the sake of my mental health.
It's not just Babar. I think it's our batting lineup in general. Like Abdullah Shafiq has been out of form, but Shan Masood and Jason Gillespie, they want consistency. And that's why they've picked the same batting lineup. I think when I was looking back, the last tour England had, it's pretty much the same batting lineup minus Azhar Ali, who's not available anymore. So Sean needs to score. Abdullah needs to score. We can't keep talking about Saim Ayub and his glimpses of performances. Like Saim Ayub needs to step up, score big runs. Saud Shakil just signed with Gary Nichols.
Yeah, congratulations, Saud. You know, another Karachiite making it big. I love to see it.
3 of Pakistan's middle order batsmen are batting with Gary Nichols' bat. So if none of them score, we know what the problem is.
That's not Gray Nichols, honestly. Well, maybe HS just signed somebody up.
Bro, HS Babar was different.
Oh, yeah, we keep talking about this.
I wish Cricinfo had this filter where you could filter a batsman's batting performances by his bat sponsor. So I'd love to see Virat Kohli with Nike and then Virat Kohli with MRF.
Technically, you could do that because this is year by year, right? I mean, you could technically do that. But
still,
coming back to the point here, is this Shan Masood's last series as captain or Shan Masood's last series full stop?
Shan Masood's place in the Pakistan team is in serious doubt. There's massive question marks. And I mean, he has to justify his place first before he can justify himself as a captain. And if he doesn't score runs, how does he go out there in the dressing room and demand the team to follow the steps that he wants them to take? Right? Like, how does he demand the respect of his players when he's not scoring runs, when he's averaging 28 in test matches?
Is this Shan Masood's last series if he doesn't perform?
I'm not sure. I think the board is trusting Sean. The board is trusting Jason Gillespie. And what I heard from Jason today is that he wants consistency. He wants to give players long runs. I don't know how much more time Sean has.
If I was a betting man, again, haram, but I would say that if Shan Masood, if Pakistan loses this series 3-0, that would be 8-0 for Sean in test matches as captain, and he gets sacked the next day.
It's interesting. Sean wants to think long term. Sean wants to develop a brand new team. The same thing with Babar Azam said when England was here last time when they lost 3-0. They're like, we have a new team. We're developing a young team. And I think if they lose this series, it might just be the end of Sean.
I kind of call bullshit on him having a new team. Shan Masood. These are veteran players. Shaheen Shah Afridi is not he's a veteran. Babar Azam is a veteran. Who else? Samal Liaga is a veteran at this point. Rizwan is a veteran. Shan Masood himself is like, who is the new person that they're developing? Abrar Ahmed, maybe.
Saim.
Freaking Numan Ali is 38.
Young blood.
What are we doing, right? Buddy, young blood. Youngster. Reminds me of that Inzamullah meme. Where he talks about, who was he talking about? Where Ramiz is cracked? I'm forgetting who he's talking about.
I think it was just his English.
No. He was talking about someone. And he was like, oh, this guy.
Youngster?
Yeah, youngster. He just says youngster and it's, I gotta look this up. Keep talking. I gotta look this up.
I think it's fitting that we're talking about Inzamam because the test match is happening in Multan, which is Inzamam's home city. Bro, I can't.
This is insane. I need to pull this up. Ramiz Raja. Yeah. Where's the youngster one, man?
I think there's just too many interviews where Ramiz is talking to Inzamam and it's in English, and Ramiz is just cracking up as Inzamam is speaking.
Somebody will point this out. I'm just gonna open one video and see if this is the one that they were talking about. But
was it Rana Naveed?
Must have been Rana Naveed. I believe it was one of those. It was an older player.
Yeah, I think because Ramiz mentioned the player's name and Inzamam was like, youngster?
And then just Ramiz lost it, and as would anybody else.
If you guys find the video, drop it in the link.
Yeah, this is very frustrating. I wish I knew off the top of my head, but sorry. Yes, Sean. I call bullshit on the whole new team thing. If anything, I would be up at that press conference saying, "Hey, this is a team that knows how to win. It just has forgotten it, and I'm here to sort of reestablish that thing."
I don't think this team knows how to win.
I mean, they're champions in this.
When
team.
did they last win?
It's been 2 years.
Last 9 test matches, Pakistan, I think, has won just the 2.
No, but you say this in the press to set precedents that, hey, I don't doubt these guys.
The press has been breathing fire at Shan Masood.
Man, get somebody. Like, I don't even know, man. It's disrespectful. Honestly, like, I'm glad there's new blood in the press room with the pro sports guys in now, but it's just shameful, man. These old heads to have no idea how to talk to players.
They want spicy news. They want to basically push the captain or whoever's in the press conference to an extent where they get agitated, where they say things that they don't want to, and that becomes headlines.
And someone as gullible as Iftikhar Ahmed like walks right into that, right? But Shan was
Keep
smart.
Iftikhar away from any microphone.
Or front-facing selfie cams with runners-up trophies. Let's keep him away from that.
Or kids coming up to him with microphones.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So this is my take. I think Shan Masood doesn't survive this series. If Pakistan are 3-0. Closing thoughts, Bashar. What do you expect from this series?
Genuinely, I'm scared.
No, give me.
Genuinely.
You need to give me more than just I'm scared. Like, what do you expect? Give me a number.
Well, that's my hook.
That's
so genuinely, I'm scared. I am afraid of the way England bats. I'm afraid that Pakistan may not be able to take wickets. I'm afraid that England will figure out the conditions better than Pakistan, that they'll get reverse swing into play. They have bowlers who have coming off of a pretty good series against Sri Lanka. They've been playing Test cricket more consistently. Pakistan, on the other hand, they have their two premier bowlers are struggling, Shaheen Afridi and Naseem Shah. Both haven't really been in touch with red ball cricket. And to make things interesting, the PCB just hosted a white ball ODI tournament to prepare for test matches against England. You can look at that in a way where they might want these test match players to play in the form of ODI cricket. Hashtag Shani Ball.
Shani Ball.
Shani Ball is becoming a thing. So, yeah, I'm genuinely scared. I feel like Pakistan might get thrashed here. And
another 3-0 on the cards?
If it's not heaps of runs from Abdullah Shafiq, Saim, and Babar, I have a feeling that Pakistan might get blown over, like a 2-0.
2-0? So there's a draw in there?
One draw, maybe.
I doubt there's a draw. I don't think Ben Stokes plays cricket like that. There's gonna be results in all three of the games. That's my genuine take. Yeah, I'm not scared. It's just one of those things where I'm kind of sick of this team losing so just defenselessly without any passion. I'm kind of pissed off at this, honestly speaking. Being a cricket fan for so long, being a Pakistan cricket fan for so long, it just feels odd, at this point disrespectful. I was listening to Nasir Hussain and Athers, and they had Uruj Mumtaz on their podcast. And the first question that Nasir asked Uruj is like, this is a tough time to be a Pakistan cricket fan. And Uruj is like, hands up, like, literally yes. And I echo those sentiments, because if you're still on the board with this team and you're still watching this test series, even though however iconic you may seem it is, watching this test series is going to be painful. And if these boys don't turn something around, you're going to continue to lose fans. And if that's the case, then we're gonna hold the ship as long and as hard as we can. But honestly, at this point, Canadian cricket is a lot more interesting with games happening at home and Canada actually being good.
They just won the North Wales Cup.
Yeah, and like that's one of those things where I feel more attached to Canadian cricket. I know those players a lot better. They're actually working hard. I can see their I can see their hard work in the close games that they'll win or lose. And if associate cricket is appealing to me more than international cricket has something to say. And Pakistan cricket has standards. I just hope whatever the result comes out at the end, because when the Australia series happened, Pakistan lost 3-0 on paper, but the nitty-gritty said that Pakistan plays some good cricket in there. That's all I want.
I feel like Pakistan's test team is lacking some fierce characters. We look in the history and we have players like Shoaib Akhtar, we had Inzamam, we had Shahid Afridi playing test matches, 37 average, by the way.
Not bad.
Shahid Afridi 500s.
Respects.
Razak, we had Danish Kanaria, we had Saklan Mushtaq, we had Saeed Ajmal. These guys were characters. It was fun to watch them. Misbah, Yunus, Yusuf, all these guys were amazing players. But now when I look at the current 11, it just seems toothless. Like I don't see why I would wake up at like 1 a.m. to watch these guys play test cricket. And I was the kind of guy who would wake up early in Pakistan in the winters, get my hoodie on, get my chai in, and just watch ball by ball test cricket happening in Faisalabad, Multan, Karachi. And it would just make my day. But now I feel like if it wasn't for this podcast, I may just watch the highlights, the short highlights, the 5-minute highlights, and that'd be it.
If that's the honest case, then I'd be really disappointed. There is still something beautiful about Pakistan hosting test matches. At least for me, it becomes a nostalgic thing. Like, we've played cricket in Pakistan. We know how the streets sound. We know how The air smells in the morning at 9 a.m. when you're out there for the toss. We used to practice at PIA Cricket Academy in Karachi, and we used to be up at 7 a.m. playing cricket. So for me, it's still like a nostalgic thing. There's still smog in the air. You can kind of
Wearing the whites.
you're wearing the whites. You can smell like yesterday's oil being burned on the streets. And when I was in Karachi, actually, this past year, I played some like post Fajr 6 a.m., 7 a.m. cricket games, and it brought me right back. And that feeling itself, even as fleeting as it may be, it just doesn't compare to these boys is not putting in 100%. And that's my problem with this team.
But I feel like cricket has changed a lot, and especially amongst the eyes of the younger generation. Like the day after your Rukhsati in Karachi, this is January of 2023. It was day 5 of the Pakistan versus New Zealand Test match. We got back home at 2 a.m. and I look at the scorecard, and it's Pakistan is like, I think 14-1, and Babar Azam is next to come into bat. And I arranged tickets overnight. I am up at 8 a.m. I took an Uber to National Stadium. And when I told my family and friends I'm going to watch the day 5 of the test match, all of them, without a doubt, laughed at me. They're like, why the hell are you going to watch a test match? People's interest in Pakistan generally lie within white ball cricket, and that too T20s, and especially the PSL. So when it comes to test matches, I doubt any of these games might even be sold out.
I think I'm going to, again, slightly push back on that. I think that's more of a Karachi thing. Because I was at the 5th one-dayer against New Zealand last year where Iftikhar scored 96, 98 or something. And it was full.
Babar's 100th one day.
100th one day. Yeah, Babar's 100th one day where he went out for like 10 or something.
Zero, I think.
Yeah, it was really bad. It was very anticlimactic.
Caught at point.
Yeah, he was wearing 100. Yeah, I was there, and he was wearing 100 ODI, like he had 100 on the back and everything. It was just really bad. But that was sold out. That was sold out. Like I was there for from the first innings, and there was about 30% full. And then as the night progressed, people came, and it was like I still think there's an appetite, especially in like more rural cities. Not saying Multan is a small like rural city, but compared to Lahore and Karachi, it's like half the size. And I think these people will show up. You saw Faisalabad show up for Champions Cup, man. It's a domestic tournament. I just think that whoever's showing up, these boys need to take responsibility and give us a show. Because if it's just another walkover, then you will further disenfranchise another set of fans who just cannot take it anymore. Honestly, these young kids, these TikTok kids, they don't have the stamina that you and I have, that have gone through the rigors of spot fixing and exile and all that stuff, right? So that's just a very long-winded way of saying I hope it's a good series. I hope it's a fun series. I hope we have something positive to talk about. I hope Pakistan wins, honestly. Even if it's 2-1, I don't want to whitewash, but I want a competitive series, and I want my boys back in the runs.
Well, this time it is England, so it won't be Bangla wash. It'll be a whitewash.
This will be a whitewash. And the whole like colonial colonist mindset and that undertone itself is its own thing, but it's always fun if England loses. I like that.
On that note, this is Bashar signing off.
Also, we shot a lot of numbers at you guys, and if you guys want the show notes, they're available for our Patreon members. You can check the Patreon down below, and you can sign up. Show notes are available there for all the podcasts that we do. There was a moment where I stopped posting them because I thought people didn't have interest, but people actually reached out and were like, "Hey, we like reading or going through those notes." So
one of these days, we will share pod notes for a guest interview that we do. I think it'd be interesting to show people the amount of research and prep that goes into hosting a guest, even if it's whether it's Qasim Akram or whether it's Naseem Shah, just the amount of prep we do before a guest episode. I think it's really cool to check out.
I think the Naseem Shah guest, those notes we can share. Those would be interesting for people to figure out, and then go back and listen to the podcast and see how much of that came in. Again, if you guys are interested in that, please do let us know in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Check out Yashi Sports. If you're listening on the audio platforms, please do not forget to leave a like, and do not forget to review. It actually comes in handy when it comes to like these algorithms trying to promote our stuff on Apple Music and Spotify. It actually helps when the algorithm sees that there's positive reviews. Anyways, Bashar,
and you guys can join our Discord community for absolutely free.
Yeah,
and me and you are in and out of that Discord, interacting with you guys, having some jokes. And if we have some time, we might just jump in and out of a voice lounge.
Yeah, a voice lounge. We have PCT therapy there, where we haven't actually engaged that in a while, but I hope we don't have to. Or if we do, it's in a positive way. But yeah, there's lots of cool stuff. Check out the links in the bio or in the description. And Bashar's going to be out for the weekend. He's out in the US. So if you run into Bashar in the wild, say hi. And when Bashar is back, we'll review the first test match. Cool?
Cool.
All right. Thank you very much for listening. Stay safe, drive safe, and we'll see you guys in the next pod. Cheers.